Nearly a week since two officers were shot after a suspect opened fire at a Casey's gas station in Hermann, Missouri. The shooting landed both Detective Sergeant Mason Griffith and Officer Adam Sullentrup in the hospital. Officer Griffith later died from his injuries. Kenneth Lee Simpson was arrested and charged with the shooting. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Ann Allred.
And I'm Mike Bush. Kenneth Lee Simpson pled not guilty to murder and armed criminal action last week. A hearing was scheduled for tomorrow, but that was canceled, and no word yet on when it will be rescheduled. Today, though, hundreds gathered in the Owensville High School gym to celebrate Sergeant Griffith's life. Law enforcement vehicles and American flags filled the parking lot as people came to pay their respects. The morning started with a visitation, followed by funeral services at 2, then a procession to the cemetery in Rosebud where Griffith was buried. Our Mercedes McKay joins us live from Rosebud with how his community is remembering this officer. Mercedes.
Mike, the funeral is actually still happening right now. You can slightly hear the taps behind me. Basically, the whole town of Rosebud is here to celebrate Sergeant Griffith's life. And it was clear by just the amount of people that were here today and the amount of people that were there earlier at the funeral services that this man was someone who was well loved and would be greatly missed. Now, the funeral lasted about an hour and a half long. Sergeant Griffith had several people speak about his legacy that he's leaving behind, a man they say was born to protect and serve. Speakers ranged from the Hermann Chief of Police, the Rosebud Mayor, the Gasconade County Sheriff, and 2 other fellow officers who knew Griffith well. They described Griffith as someone who was selfless, loved hunting, Star Wars, and God. Hermann Police Chief Marlon Walker says Griffith was always there for him and put everything into his job.
Someone says that he served, that's what he did every day of his life. He woke up serving. That's what he was born to do. That's what I believe Mason was put on this earth to do, was to serve. He knew at a young age that's what he wanted to do, was his calling was to serve and protect. That's what he did every day with great honor and integrity.
Now you can see in this video on your screen the amount of cars that filled the parking lot. We were not able to shoot any video inside, but the line during his visitation was long and filled with people he impacted greatly. Before the funeral started, we spoke with some people outside about Sergeant Griffith and who he was to them. They described him as a good man, a good teacher, and someone who was great at their job. One woman even told us that Griffith saved her life.
Griffith showed up at my house and he called the ambulance and everything for me, and I owe him my life. So I think.
I feel that, he was just the best person that was out there.
Now, there were several stories today where people talked about Sergeant Griffith and the man that he was. One in particular that really showed just the amount of love he had for his job was on his actual wedding day. Him and his wife had just gotten married. They were in the car. There was a call for backup, and his wife said, "Do what you got to do." And he went to serve his community on the day of his wedding. So just a really wonderful man who made such an impact here in this community. I'll have much more about that coming up tonight at 10. Live in Rosebud, Mercedes McKay, 5 on your side.
Right now.